Welcome to the channel, ladies and gentlemen. Here we are on Monday nights, ready to go back into SMC, Slasher Movie Club. Coriander, what's going on?
Not much. How you doing?
All right, I'm doing good. I hope you are too. I hope you are too.
Yeah.
For you guys here in the chat, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We really appreciate it. A blanket hello to all of you guys. We'll try to get to some of you guys, but we're gonna be talking about The Strangers tonight, man. There's a lot to unpack with it. The Strangers, Pray at Night from 2018. But we see Jack. What's going on, man? Jack's in the chat. Jinja
Hey.
Ninja, what's going on, man? Good to see you too. Jose is in
Hello.
the chat. We
Nice.
got Brandon the Beldums in the chat as well. What's going on?
Hello.
Mr. Dan. Mr. Dan is in the house.
Dan.
Is Tamara home?
Oh no.
That's right, man.
Nope.
That is right. Well, I don't know if we should say nope. I think that's the whole point, man, is that they might have
Either
been
way, you
saying the
answer
wrong
the door,
shit.
so you're screwed.
Yes, there's a lot of lessons to be
So
learned in these Two Strangers movies, right? Just as we've
yeah.
learned a lot of things from Wrong Turn and Don't Breathe and so forth. So, uh, Julie's in the chat too. What's up, Julie? Good to see
Hello.
you. Hope you're doing well.
Yeah.
The Queen is in the house. What's up? Sarah's in the
Hello.
chat. What's going on, Sarah? Good to see you. Kay's in the chat. What's going on, Kay? Good to see you as well. And Jennifer's in the chat saying, Happy Monday, friends. What's up,
Hello.
Jennifer? Good to see you. Hope you're
Yeah.
doing well.
Happy Monday.
And my boy, my bro, our great friend, Steven,
Steven.
is in the house. Hey, Night and Coriander. Love the intro night.
Hey.
Hey, well, thank you, man. I appreciate That's kind of you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate that, you know. And I know you know how it is whenever you put something together for the channel. It's always nice to hear feedback, and especially if it's positive, that's even better. So thanks so much, man. I appreciate you. Let's see who else we got. Gina's in the chat. Good to see you, Gina.
Hey.
Russell, what's up, Russell? Good to see you, brother.
Hello.
Backtrack Cinema, my man Jason, my brother in the house. What's up, man? Steven's working hard in the chat, saying smash the
Nice.
thumbs up. We appreciate you, brother. Barb, what's going on? Saying just a
Hey.
hello on my break at work. Well, thank you for stopping in,
Hope you
Barb.
have a good
We appreciate
night.
Yeah. Yeah, we appreciate you so much. Seriously.
Mm-hmm.
Um, now Gina's saying I haven't seen either Strangers films. Well, let me just say, Gina,
Ooh.
first of all,
Mm.
these are two films that I think you should definitely check out if you're a horror fan, if you're a slasher fan, and the fact that they're modern films, especially this one, and we are on the brink of them bringing it back, which we might touch upon that a little bit. I know my good buddy Dan is going to be talking about that on his channel, and I'll be joining him for that. But
Nice.
definitely check out these movies, and that's even before we get into the meat and potatoes. But look,
Yeah.
Mario's in the chat. Good to see you. Saying this is my
Hello.
favorite The Strangers film. All right,
It
very
is
cool. But
good.
Coriander,
Yeah. Yeah.
well, let's start from the beginning here, man, because
Mm-hmm.
we've got a film here that followed the first film, which we did talk about in Slasher Movie Club not too long ago. So definitely check out that episode. But now we have a film to me that kind of changes things around. Now, this was not directed by Brian Bertino, but he
Mm-hmm.
did um, do the writing. He was a screenwriter, but we had a different director, Johannes Roberts, directed this instead. Now, it has a totally different feel to it, in my opinion. What were your thoughts as we open up the film and we see the strangers doing
Yeah.
what they do, which was really creepy, by the way. Some
Right?
some nice shots in the movie.
It is, because it reminds me of the first film, because that's how it almost,
Hmm.
when they creep through, that's almost it. Just, I don't know, it just reminded me of that. But yeah, they come to
Right,
these people's house and start banging on the door. And yeah, I mean, the
yes,
dog didn't even bark. I don't understand why
yeah.
that dog didn't do a damn thing.
Hmm. Hmm.
But yeah,
Maybe because it
like
was
I
an older
say,
dog, I guess. Maybe.
maybe, but still it could bark, even make some type
Hmm.
of
Yeah.
noise. But anyway,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah.
and they get in the place, their little trailer, and yeah, man, it's over for
Hmm.
them. It starts out quick. This movie starts
It
out
did,
quick.
bro.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, this is like this is like starting right off the bat because these old people had
Yeah.
no clue. Again, look, I'm just saying, a warning to everybody. If you're getting a knock on the door like that in the middle of the night, you may not
Yeah.
want to answer it, and you definitely
Yeah.
might
Don't
want to
turn on
have a
any
fairly.
lights. Yeah.
Hmm.
Yeah. But anyway.
That's right. That's But you see, just little things that they were doing in this film, getting in bed with the old man after they, had killed the older lady. It's just some creepy stuff,
Mhm.
man. And it's like boom, starts off right like that. But then, so that's just your intro into what is possibly going to be going down in this film. And then we're introduced to our main cast, the people that we're going to be spending most of our time with. And I thought that that was a really cool way to kind of open this thing up. We're introduced to
Yep.
this family. We've got a mother,
Mhm.
we've got a daughter, two teenagers, and obviously seeing Christina Hendricks, who plays the mother, seeing her
Mhm.
in a film like this was really, really interesting to me. What did you think of her role as the mother, Cindy? And of course, we have her daughter, Kinsey, played by Bailey Madison. What did you think of these 2?
Oh yeah, I think she's the mother. I think she's, yeah, an excellent actress. I enjoyed her in Good Girls.
Mhm,
And to see her in this movie, it was
mhm,
like, yeah, this is I thought it was good. And you know, I think everybody, the husband, the wife, the kids, they all did an
mhm,
excellent job. When shit started going down, you felt for them. And then, and this shit's based on true life events. So that even hits a little harder because people with kids,
mhm.
like if you're in a situation like this, like, holy shit. My kid could
Right,
possibly
right.
see me get killed. And, it's just
Mhm.
crazy, crazy shit that this family has to deal with. So,
Well, I think what was interesting about this family is that they were very relatable, okay? I mean, this
oh
was the
yeah,
type of
they weren't
situation
picture
that you see a
perfect.
lot of times. Yeah, you see this with a lot of
Mhm.
families. You've got, a mother and a father that when I do think what was cool was that the mother and the father were very had a great relationship. So when you see Lewis
Mhm.
Pullman who's playing Luke and you've got Christina Hendricks, um you just and you think that this family is a pretty relatable family. Luke as the son, and Martin Henderson who's playing the father, Mike. And it's just interesting because you get these 2 teenagers and Bailey playing the outcast, so to speak. They're taking her
Mhm.
to a boarding
The
school
boarding
because of her
school.
issues with her grades and all of that. And they figure,
Mhm.
hey, let's have one last family trip. And that's like a good setup for this film because the characters are already kind of on edge and out of sorts. They're just trying to keep the family together. So that, to me, anyways, will explain some of the decisions that made us kind of turn our head a few times in this film, which happens in every horror film, right? You got to have the horror tropes and stuff like that. But let me just say
Mhm.
this, Coriander, and for you guys that were here for our wrong turn
Whew.
episode, look at this place, Coriander. Look at
Yeah,
it.
that would
There is,
creep me out. To be the
look,
only friggin' people besides your aunt and uncle,
yes.
supposedly,
Yes.
it's
Look,
like,
Christina
mm-mm.
Hendricks is saying it herself. She's like, "What the hell's going on?" I mean, there is nothing out there.
But the mist.
There's nothing. Look, guys,
Yeah,
don't go to
no.
places like this if you're alone, and if you do,
Mm-mm.
have backup plans. That's all I gotta say. But
Yeah, a
yes,
couple
the
of
setup is,
guns, a bunch of
man, you
pepper
gotta have
spray,
you gotta have an army, bro. You gotta have an
a
army. But
flamethrower.
there were a few things that were really interesting, subtle things in the film because when Cindy goes into the office basically to get the keys to their trailer, to their cabin, whatever we want to call, well, trailer,
Hmm.
she goes to pick up the keys and she sees this note from her uncle. And so she thinks nothing of it, saying basically, we'll catch up with you guys tomorrow morning. But if you notice, at the bottom of it, under his signature, there's that smiley face, and that's the symbol for the fucking strangers, bro. And
Mm.
I didn't notice that the first time I watched this
Yeah,
film.
I didn't think of that. Yeah. Hmm.
Yeah. So, in other words, obviously they had already been there and started to
Yeah.
wreak havoc and stuff like that. But of course, Cindy wouldn't know what that means because she has no idea who the hell the strangers are. So, anyways, just small little things that this film did that were pretty cool. But they're in their trailer and they're just trying to hang out with each other. Bailey Madison, I think, was really interesting as this character of Kinsey because
Mhm.
she's a typical teenager. She feels like an outcast. She's trying to find herself. She doesn't want to be sent to a boarding school. She feels like she's being rejected by her mother and her father, and by extension, her brother as well. So this is all good setup for what is going to happen in the film. Now, let me just back up a second. Let me jump into the chat real quick because I know these guys must have some stuff that they're saying about this film. Um, let's see. Barb was saying, I love the first film. The second one still rates well. Bailey Madison takes a few points away. Okay. The kills were good, though. All right. Okay. Jamie's in the chat. What's going on, Jamie? Good to see you. Saying, I
Hey.
haven't seen this yet. I need to catch up. Yes, 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 yes. And Gina, you're very smart, saying, I don't answer my door unless someone calls or texts to say that they're there. There you go. There you I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it. Um, and let me I'm telling you, let's see. Russell saying, oh no, that's not Russell. It's Mario saying I actually liked the performances in here, especially Bailey Madison and Lewis Pullman. They seemed real and raw, not cookie cutter people or stock
Mm.
characters. Good question. Good question. I mean, good point, I should say, because I think that that's one of the things that really made the film kind of move along. It has a really good pacing to it. Like we said, it starts right off the bat and it just hits the ground and it runs with it, right? So
Yeah.
let me ask you this, Coriander. They're obviously going to be spending this time in this, you know, um, trailer for a little while on this family
Mhm.
vacation that the kids aren't big onto. So you get a knock at the door, and here we go. It's Tamara home.
Yeah.
When you saw this,
Yeah.
what did you think was going to happen based on what we saw not only in the first film, but in the beginning of this movie?
That they're screwed. Because you know what
All
these
right.
people are about. So, yeah.
Right, right.
And the fact that they didn't even use a different name, you know what I mean, to maybe like try to throw you off. But no, they used the same
Hmm.
friggin' name. So, yeah.
They did. Yeah, they
Mhm.
did. So that was kind of weird, right? It was kind of
Mm.
weird. Um, and to make matters worse, so the girl says it's time her home. They say, and no, blah blah blah. And she walks off, and it was kind of weird. So then Kinsey decides to walk off because she wanted to get some air. They send her brother to kind of talk some sense to her, to kind of chill her out and all that type of thing. So now
Yep.
there's a reason why they're separated, and I thought that that was pretty interesting. There's a reason why they're separated, and of course with these kids, and you could tell right there the look that he's giving the girl. It's like
Mhm.
Mike is like, man, this is really weird. And it was. And even the light bulb on the outside light was it was loosened so that they couldn't
Mhm.
see her. You know what I mean? So I mean, it
Yeah.
was a lot of weird
Just like
stuff
the
going
first
on
movie.
in this movie.
Yeah. Mhm.
Yes. Yes, absolutely. I agree. I agree. But now that they're separated, I think when I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, this is how it's going to happen. They're going to be dealing with things not just as one family, but in two separate groups. And you've got the
Mhm.
two kids. And I thought this was a cool scene because it really did show how they do have a decent relationship, typical
Yeah.
brother sister thing, but they were really cool, in this scene together. What did you think
Mhm.
about this scene? Because I thought that the two actors, again, they felt like this, like someone said in the chat, they felt pretty relatable, and it got me more
Oh
invested in them.
yeah. Yeah, because it just makes you, it showed to you that the brother did, care for his sister and, you know,
Yes.
wanted just, to make sure everything was going to be okay. Just, bear with it. And soon enough, he'll be old enough to do what I'm doing, right? Because isn't she like, you're going to be leaving us and blah, blah, blah.
Right.
So,
Right. Right.
yeah, it just
Yes.
showed
Yes.
that,
Absolutely.
with all the bullshit that her and her friends, whatever they did something to get themselves in trouble and for
Mm-hmm.
her to end up at,
Yes.
at this school. And yeah, he's a good brother. So good for her. Not
Yeah,
everybody has the
yeah,
best brothers, so yeah.
right. No, I think it was a cool moment for him to show that, hey, he really does care. You know what I mean? Steven saying, if I answer the door, I bring my friends with me, Mr. Smith and Mr. Wesson. I love
Well,
it.
there you go.
Oh my God. Yeah, yeah. Let's see. What else do we have? Jennifer said, yes, that's how we answer our door. Yes, Craven, that's how we answer our doors in Alaska when you aren't invited. I know. It's like it's
I
so
bet,
crazy.
man. Damn.
Oh my God. Seriously,
Wow.
man. No joke. Um, Jack was saying they prepped the house before the people got there. They planned ahead. Yeah, no, they definitely planned ahead. There's no doubt about that. They were
Mhm.
these guys, or I should say the strangers, they are professionals, man. They really have a system. But here we are with, this was a big part of the film to me because this was the beginning of, oh, we got to get the fuck out of here. So Kinsey and Luke see this door open on this trailer. And unfortunately, they make the choice to go and investigate. Now, I didn't like
Yep.
that idea, but it is what it is. And they go in and you see the telltale signs of the strangers being there, writing hello on the windows. And then they see the dead bodies. And it's like,
Mhm.
oh man, it's time to get the hell out of there. And they were smart, Coriander, because they ran. They ran out of the house and ran
Yep.
right into their parents. Right
Yep.
now, this is the moment in the film that is basically the fork in the road. Okay.
Yeah.
As the father, I understand what Mike was thinking. Like, hey, you guys call the cops. I'm going to check this thing out. Again, I get it. It is what it is. I wouldn't have investigated. What did you think of this scene? Because Mike basically says, me and Luke are going to check this thing out. And he sends Cindy and Kinsey to go back, get their phones, and call 911. What did you think of that choice?
I mean, if you're gonna split up, I would have at least sent my daughter with the father and the son with the mother. I wouldn't have put the two chicks
Okay.
together. I would
Okay.
have done it in a better way because everyone always splits up. So,
Hmm.
yeah. Anyway, yeah.
Yeah, it's too bad, man, because hey, they split up, and this is where it really started to kick into overdrive because now you've got Cindy and Kinsey. Kinsey, first of all, and let me just say, and I know there's some folks in the chat that really, enjoyed, Bailey's performance, and some that weren't on board. I will say this: it was, to me, anyways, it was real. I mean, look, man, seeing a dead body decomposed and so forth, and all of the trauma that was
Mhm.
presented within her before all of those events, so she's dealing with a lot of emotions. So I think it was pretty interesting to see a character that was totally like just so emotional. But you can see
Mhm.
Cindy's trying to keep it together, trying to keep her daughter level headed because stuff is going down. Now, here's the thing, that sounds great, but then when you have the phones being busted up, and it's like,
Mhm.
oh no, man, because they were in the house. And guess what? They're still in the house. This was a fantastic scene leading up to the bathroom attack. Coriander, what did
Mhm.
you what did you think of this scene? Because I thought it was brutal, man.
Yeah, this was a rough scene,
Hmm. Hmm.
because they run. They obviously this chick runs at him. Well, not at first. She's got the knife. She
Yes.
shows, look at my big toy, and she's stabbing it into the counter. And yeah, the girls they take off running. She chases them, and yeah, they go into
Yeah.
the bathroom, and yeah, man, it makes you think like, damn. I would definitely do what she did and send my daughter first, and
Yes.
then, you know, I and one thing I would have fought. She just kind of like, I don't know, she didn't really try to fight.
Yeah.
So,
Well, I think in this movie, and this is true of all of these horror movies, I think that it's interesting sometimes when you have that character that is gripped in their fear, or
mhm,
or almost, you know what I'm saying? Like everyone, granted, yes, it would have been cool to see as a character Cindy or Christina Hendricks to fight back and maybe
Mhm.
even get out of it and get out of it alive and
Exactly.
all of that. But at the same time, we do have movies like that, and
Yeah.
sometimes
It just happened
you
too
just
quick.
don't.
It's too bad that her character went so quick. That's
Yeah,
all.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I will say it was cool that she, helped her daughter get through that window on the roof, and then,
Yeah.
look, credit credit to the strangers, man, because they find a way to do what they got to do, man. They will break through doors if they
Yeah.
if they have to. It's like, oh my
Those trailer
god.
doors, though, they can be very flimsy, so
Oh yeah,
believable.
yeah.
Yeah.
True. It's very, very true. Um, so we've got the mother that is killed, and this is still fairly early in the film. I couldn't believe it, man. I was like, they killed Christina Hendricks. What the hell's going on?
Mhm.
She was the biggest name in the film at this point. Um, Brandon saying with these guys, the strangers stand a chance if they broke into Kevin McAllister's home. No, they wouldn't. Ah. Russell saying he's got to catch the replay because I've not seen this. Okay, yeah, absolutely. Come back
Yeah.
and check it out after you see it,
Yeah,
man.
let us know how you
Definitely.
liked it. Mhm.
Yes, 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 yes. Let's see. Let me catch up. Sarah is working hard in the chat as always. Much appreciated, Sarah. 25 likes. Let's double
Yeah.
that. Yeah, guys. If you haven't hit the like button, please do. Please do. It definitely helps us out. Okay, so you've got Christina Hendricks that got killed. You got Bailey
Mhm.
that climbs on top of the trailer through the window. She's on the roof. She's getting out of there. And then we got to get back to the guys, man, because this is a situation where you don't want to investigate, but yet there's curiosity. So like I said, I understand what Mike was thinking. Should he have brought his son? Probably not. Probably not, because I would have wanted to like you said, I would have wanted to keep my son with, his mother and his sister. But it is what it is. So guess what? They're gonna get attacked too. And now it's like, oh crap, here we go. The man in the mask.
Yeah.
Um, I
Mhm.
think that this was a really cool scene because they were stuck in the house, and it really showed again just regular people. We're not talking about people that are Rambo or John Wick. These are just regular people that aren't accustomed to, you know, trying to be killed or to killing anyone. So I thought Martin Henderson as Mike played this really, really well. He did find a gun inside of the
Yep.
house and utilized it in the sense to say, hey, man, I got a gun. I'm going to start shooting if you don't leave us alone. And so that was cool. They got out of that. And I was like, wow, they actually got out of that situation. But here's a scene I thought that was very emotional. And tell me what you think about this. But when Martin and Luke get back to their trailer and
Mhm.
Martin sees his wife, it's like, come on, man. This was
Not
really,
only
really,
that,
this was tough.
yeah, yeah, but his son sees his mom and he's like, "Mommy," and
Yeah.
that was
Yeah.
worse. The
Yeah.
husband,
And I
whatever,
think,
but when kids are involved, that's a completely different, no.
well, of course. Yeah. Yeah. But I do think, one thing, just as an actor, I think one thing that always kind of touched me that Martin Henderson did in his portrayal as Mike is as soon as Luke, wanted to see what was going on with his mother. I mean, Mike ran out of that bathroom to stop his son. He literally almost
Mhm.
tackled him away from the bathroom so that his son would not have to have that etched into his mind. So I think again, just little this is not Shakespeare or anything, right? It's a horror movie. But I think little things like this um make it emotional, stands out a little bit, gets you invested in this family, and you want to see them survive. See
Mhm.
how he's just holding his son back. You're like, you remember that
Yeah.
scene? Did you think that scene
Oh,
was? I
yeah.
thought it was super emotional. I mean, he almost
It
tackled
was a
that
good
boy
scene.
to get him
Yeah.
away. Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
it was a very good scene.
You felt
And
bad for
he's
this
basically,
family.
you did. You
Mm.
did, man. It was like really, really emotional. And he's basically like, we got to get your sister. That is
Mhm.
our only mission right now. We've got to find Kinsey. And I think that that was probably such a tough conversation to have if you put yourself in the shoes of Mike because his wife has been killed. his wife is dead, and they obviously had a fantastic relationship, right? You saw that in the beginning of the
Yeah.
movie. That's why this makes that's why this scene rings truer and more powerful. But in this moment, the only thing he can think about is his daughter and his son, and he has to be strong to do that. So again, little moments like that I think were really, really good. Um, Barb saying the great thing about movie discussions is you get to hear it through the perspective of others. Hearing you talk about it makes me want to watch it with these notes in mind. Well, thank you so much, Barb. We
Yeah.
appreciate that. That's exactly why we love discussing films because
Mhm.
and Coriander, you can throw your 2 cents into it as well. But for me, you know, when we talk about these movies, my objective is to watch the movie and just absorb it and then to just speak about it, the good and the bad, if there is any, and just
Mhm.
put it out there to you guys. And I think it's really interesting to hear the different opinions, even when the two of us talk
Yeah,
about these
yeah.
movies, the difference of perspectives and stuff, and what hits
Mhm.
harder and what doesn't, you know?
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
really interesting stuff. So we have the scene where the two guys get into the van. Now, this was another thing too, Coriander. And again, this is a horror movie, so these things have to happen. They're in the van
Yeah.
driving around looking for Kinsey. And I
Mhm.
get it. You're not going to be totally focused, but then boom, they get a brick thrown at the window and then they crash into this other trailer. And this was basically yeah, this was the beginning of the end. While that's happening, you've got Kinsey who has run. Her mother has been killed. She's run out. She's trying to hide, and you have that really fantastic scene in the park that I thought was
Mhm.
really well done. The way it was shot. What did you think of this scene? Because at first I was saying, well, I don't know if she should have done that, and then you said, well, it looked like it might have worked.
Well, when someone has a truck and they're coming after you, yeah.
Yeah,
In the moment it worked. Who would have thought
hmm,
what you're going to show next? Exactly. Who would have thought that she was going to
that's
be
right.
right there?
Yeah,
So,
that was a good little
they
scene.
yeah, they always seem to know like where these kids were going to go. It's like they were there
Yeah,
for some reason.
right,
And the fact that these kids kept going to the same places, I would be going to
right.
different places, not back to where my dead aunt and uncle are, or the place where we were. No.
Right.
So,
Well, I
but
think what
anyway.
also was interesting too, and they set this up early. Number one, it's nighttime, and number two, they don't know this place. They're just running around in the
Yeah.
dark. They have no sense of you know where to go, what to do,
Still,
or anything.
they've
So
got
I thought that was interesting
so
too.
many other empty places to duck into besides the same ones.
Mhm.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true too. Very, very true. Um, but she gets the hell out of that, and luckily she was able to. Back again with the guys, it's not looking good for Mike. It's not looking good for Mike at all because it looks like he's been impaled when they crashed into the side of that trailer.
Yeah, definitely.
What did you think of this scene? Because I mean, for Luke, he had to leave his father there, and there you got the man in the mask
Yeah.
that's ready to do what he's going to do.
Yeah, I mean, these poor kids, both of their
Hmm.
parents are aced out.
Right.
You know
Yeah.
this guy's trapped and this dude's gonna kill him. So
Yeah.
yeah, man.
Yeah.
It,
I mean,
it
he gets
was
into
just
the
a bummer.
car, he's turning on the radio, sipping
Mm-hmm.
Mai Tais and all of that with him. And it's like you knew he was going to kill him. And it was just a question of when. And they really drew out this scene quite a bit. So the man in the mask definitely had his moment, in the
He
movie. One
did.
of two big, well, actually, one of three big moments in the
Mm-hmm.
film for the man in the mask. But, I felt so bad for Mike, um, throughout this whole film. Martin Henderson portrayed this character as, just a regular dad. He's a good dad
Mm-hmm.
and he's just trying to help keep his family together, enjoy his family. He loves his kids, he loves his wife, and he's gonna die, man. And he knew it. Meanwhile,
Yeah.
you've got Kinsey again trying to hide,
Yeah.
once again showing that. So obviously, we know there's three strangers, right? There's
Mhm.
3 of them, so obviously there's strength in numbers. You got the man in the mask, you've got Dollface, and then you've got the pinup girl. And they're always 2 or 3 steps ahead because when Kinsey goes into this trailer and is hiding and plays with the little jack in the box, boom, right there, gets attacked, stabbed. I thought
Yep.
it was a good scene, man. Fortunately for her, though, her brother comes to save the day. That was the good news. And you really
Mhm.
saw more of Luke as a character because I'm not gonna lie, man. I thought he was gonna shoot her. She even said, "Are you going to shoot me?" But he
Mhm.
didn't. He didn't. And I was
No.
like, wow. I
And
mean,
his
just
sister was
showing
even like, "Give me the
his
gun,
moral
I'll do
compass.
it." Yeah.
Right, right. So these 2 kids, they were doing different things at different times, which was interesting because you never knew how they were going to react in these particular instances with the strangers, right? Are they going
Mhm.
to kill them? Or are they going to run away? Are they in fear? Are they in anger? And I think both actors, did a great job. Bailey Madison and Lewis Pullman. I think they did some good stuff as these 2 characters, but they run away, which was smart, or they tried to. But Bailey's injured. Her leg is messed up. She's been cut
Yep.
up. So this was another way to slow them down. Because otherwise, you know what I'd be saying? Friggin' keep running. Don't stop.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? Don't
Yeah.
stop. But they can't. And you even got the man in the mask basically running into the side of the trailer with his truck. And it's like,
Yep.
wow, man, they are not playing around. They're constantly on the run and they figure, hey, we got to get to a phone. They try to do that. That doesn't even work. So it's like
No.
this whole time, every time they try to do something smart, there's an obstacle. And I thought to myself,
Mhm.
man, they are just screwed. Real quick too in the chat, JJ's in the chat saying, "Hey all, what's
Hey.
going on? Good to see you. Good to see you." Russell saying, "67 years young, growing up, was never scared watching horror. Been watching since I was." Okay, all right, cool stuff, man. Cool stuff. Um, so we're getting into a really good scene here. To me, one of the standout scenes where Luke, I mean, I got to give Luke credit. I really enjoyed him, and there were a lot of different moments, but this is where I was like really, really on board with him as a character. We've got the pool scene with all the lights, the neon lights. We got the 80s music blasting in the background, which I thought was pretty cool. But look,
Right.
man, when you run up on somebody like this scene here, and he's got a
Mhm.
golf club, you bet you better be
That
ready
was a
for
good
him to hit a
scene.
home run. It was a good scene.
Right?
What did you think of it? I mean,
I
was it surprising to you that he got the hit off on her and then what happened?
I mean, I'm surprised he hit her right on the way he did.
Yeah,
But yeah, he timed it perfect. And
he did.
if she was like quiet, she could have like totally pulled that off, but she was just going for it. So she gave
Yeah,
herself away. But
she did, man.
it was a good scene. And to see him
Yes.
just going at it finally, he couldn't use
Yeah.
the gun, but he definitely could use that knife. So yeah, man.
Yeah, he stabbed her a bunch of times, man, and he's just going off, man. But as soon as that happened, you're thinking, okay, well, that's good news. But next thing you know, the man in look, bro, these guys, they are all, like I said, they're always multiple steps ahead of the kids. Um, and
Yep.
the man in the mask is there. He's got his axe, so they go into this big fight. It's a great scene, man. And of course, it goes into
Yeah.
the water, which as soon as that happened, I was like, man, this is bad news. But Luke was hanging
Yeah.
in there. Luke was
He
hanging in there
did.
until he tried to
He
get
did.
out.
Yeah. He shouldn't have kept his back to him. If he
Yeah,
was,
agreed.
I would have ran backwards. And then I could have at least,
Well,
kicked the dude or done
seen it
something.
coming.
Exactly.
Yeah,
You could have
yeah.
defended yourself
Because when you're
maybe a
trying to
little
get out of a
bit
pool,
better.
you can't move very well anyways. So it's like
Mm,
he was
nope.
trying, and it was just he wasn't fast enough to get away. And so when he got stabbed, I remember seeing it. And I was like, "What?" I was pissed off. I really was because he's to me was a really good
Yeah.
character. I really enjoyed him. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it
And we
was too
got foreign
bad.
horror in the chat too. What's going on,
Hey.
man? Good to see you. Yeah, good to see you. JJ saying haven't watched this one yet. Saw the first one. All right.
Oh, you should
Okay.
check this one out.
Brandon Brandon's saying every time you say "Man in the Mask," I think of Alice Cooper. Yeah, right. Good point. Good point. Mario saying this was a very underrated film. I don't think it was released in theaters everywhere. I first saw it when it came out on Blu-ray. I bought it when it came out in 2018. Yeah, this
Hmm.
definitely it's definitely underrated. Before we get into the scores and so forth, it's definitely underrated. No doubt.
Hmm.
No doubt at all. Um yes, Total Eclipse of the Heart playing during the pool scene. It was a good song.
It was.
For that
Yep.
scene, it's a great song anyways, but a
Hmm.
great song for that scene. It really yeah, played out well. Jason's in the chat. What's up, man? Good to see you.
Hey,
Hope you're
right?
doing well, man. All right.
Yeah.
Saying subscribe and hit the like button. Absolutely, man. Thank you. So when he gets stabbed, I was just thinking, man, he
Yeah.
is dead. But guess what?
Yeah.
He's not dead. I mean, he's severely injured,
No.
but Bailey comes, pulls him out of the water, and kind of hides him to the side. And basically, she's saying, I got to get to the road. I got to get us out of here. So,
Hmm.
this is what I wanted to say. This is where she becomes the final girl. And I'm going to admit, I
Yep.
didn't know it was going to necessarily go that way because I was putting my money on Luke because they really seemed to be building Luke up, especially in the beginning of this pool scene. But it's
Yeah.
Kinsey. She's the one. She's the one. And holy crap, she had some stuff she had to go through. The scene with the officer,
Right.
which this was one scene where I was like, now wait a minute, because there was this shot where she's trying to explain to the officer what's going on. And I
Hmm.
get it. She's out of sorts. Her parents are dead. Her brother is on the brink of death. I get it. Right. But right here, Coriander, when one
Yeah.
of the strangers is coming up through the side, it's like, how did no one see her? What is
Exactly.
going on? I was like,
Hmm.
come on, guys, open your eyes. I know you've been through a lot of shit, a lot of trauma, but so anyways, it's just over for this cop. Totally over. He
Yeah.
gets sliced and diced. But it was a great scene
Hmm.
because again, Kinsey, it's almost like she's going up this ladder as far as being um powerful, and fighting back efficiently, right?
Hmm.
Because she gets into the truck, you get a little bit of a Scream homage because she gets into the truck, the keys aren't in the truck, and then you see her with the keys on the outside, like tapping on the window, and it's like, okay, you guys got that from Screen. That was pretty cool. There were a couple of homages that we're going to talk about in a second, but Kinsey's like, enough of this shit. She grabs the shotgun that's in the truck, which that's what I was saying. It's like, get the shotgun, and she shoots the hell out of her, pulls the mask off. This is the first time that we, in full view, see her. And Kinsey says,
Yeah.
why are you doing this? And all she says with this weird smile is, why not? Well, guess what,
Exactly.
Coriander? That's not a good enough answer for me. And it wasn't a good enough answer for Kinsey. So she just shoots her. and,
Yes, she did.
I'm not trying to sound sadistic, but as a viewer, I'm thinking, yes, yes, that's awesome.
Hmm.
You know, let's get out of here, man. I'm sick and tired of these fucking strangers, man. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the end of it because the man in the mask is in the truck. He rams
Yeah.
into the truck. Creepy scene,
Hmm.
man. Like this scene here where he pulls up to the side of her and looks at her, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And he drives
Yeah.
off. But all he was doing was getting enough runway so he could ram it to the side of the vehicle.
Hmm.
Bad news. Bad news for him because look what's leaking onto the ground. You got the
Not only
gasoline,
that, but he
man.
got himself stuck.
He was stuck.
So he
Yeah,
was,
yeah.
yeah.
So, and this was a great shot of him too, man. It almost looked like he was like pissed, almost like frowning, although the mask isn't different, but just the way that it was shot, there were really good scenes, as far as the camera work, like this particular moment. But Kinsey's like, you know what? I gotta kill another stranger. No problem. She lights it up. The truck's on fire. You're thinking it's over. No, it's not.
I
What you
know.
what did you think of this scene? Run
I
it through
was
me because
like,
these guys didn't watch it with you like I did. Tell me what you thought when the
I
scene
was
happened.
like, what? Because that friggin' those two vehicles exploded. I mean, the fact
Yeah.
that this guy didn't, come out on fire, let alone he's driving this friggin'
Yes.
Oh man, I
Yes.
thought it was crazy. I thought it was crazy.
It was. It was, man. She's running away. She gets to the point where she can't run anymore because her leg is injured, which they set that up earlier, so that was fine. But man in the mask, or I should say man in a third of a mask comes out of the truck.
Yeah.
He's burnt up. He's injured.
Mhm.
Half of the mask is burned away, like you can see in this image here. And I'm thinking, wait a
Yeah.
minute, this guy isn't Michael Myers, but hey, it plays for the film, and he
Yeah.
eventually just collapses from his injuries. And it's like, all right, Kinsey is trying to get away. She sees this woman, probably a mother and a son, and
Mhm.
flags them down. The mother's like, okay, let me help you out. And then all of a sudden, it's like,
She's
wait a
like, "Oh
minute,
hell no."
he's he's getting up. Are you serious? He's getting up. He's got the axe. The mother's like, fuck this, and starts to get back in the truck.
Mhm.
And it's totally like an homage to TCM. This is,
Yeah.
this is the Sally ending, right? That's what it is.
Oh yeah.
And man in the mask climbs up on the car. He's swiping at her, and she's like, I'm done. I'm totally done. She takes that baseball bat and she hits him
Hell
so
yeah.
hard. It's not even funny. And that is the end of it, for the man in the mask. He's done. There's no coming back from that, man. You're not Michael Myers, okay, bro?
Mhm.
And but I think it was a pretty good homage to TCM, to Texas Chainsaw Massacre. And you got this this young lady that was forced to save herself. I think that's what was pretty cool about it, and
Mhm.
her character arc. Thought it was some really good stuff. Um,
Yeah.
but I was sad about Luke, right? Well, guess what, Coriander? Luke survives.
What?
He's in the hospital. She
Right?
took care of it.
Mhm.
She picked up her brother. He's being, he's getting all the medical attention he needs, which I was happy to see that. And of course, obviously, their relationship will be stronger than ever. But at the end of the
Mhm.
film, man, they play it out. They play it out smooth because you hear a knock on the door, and it's not a regular knock. It's a freaking violent type of knock. And so she looks at the door, and then boom, it cuts. What an
Mhm.
ending! What an ending. First of all, what did you think about the TCM homage? And how did you feel about this ending where Luke obviously was saved by Kinsey?
I mean, that's good cuz
Yeah,
she, her whole family didn't get wiped out. She at least
right.
has her brother. So
Yeah,
that made it okay. It
right.
sucks, but whatever. Like you said, they have each other. So, yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely, absolutely. Well, let's do this as we always do. We want to give this film um, our grade, and the way we do this, we have our badge system. We've got the 4 badges, which means we think the film was excellent. It's definitely a must-watch for a horror fan, especially if you're a slasher fan. We've got 3 badges, meaning we think it was a good film. We've got 2, meaning we think it was so-so. You could take it or you could leave it, and then of course we have the dreaded 1 badge, which means we did not like the film. We think it was not good, aka what we call dark territory, aka blood cult, aka good night, God
Mm,
bless, aka student bodies, aka don't go in the woods alone. So,
okay.
Coriander,
Yeah.
what are we going to give The Strangers Pray at Night from 2018?
Well, I really enjoyed this movie. I am giving it
Mm,
a 4. I'm giving it
okay,
4.
we're going with
Yeah.
4 badges. All right.
Hell yeah.
Very, very cool. Um, I will have to agree with you. I think it's a really, really entertaining film. I think there are a lot of good moments in it. The characters, you wanted to follow these characters. There was a lot of intrigue into their arcs and so forth. I think and I enjoyed the original film too, but these 2 films are very, very different. I think this
Mhm.
one
They
is a
are.
little bit more accessible.
Mhm.
It's a little bit more rewatchable in a sense. Um, but
The
yeah, I think
kids
it's a
added a
4 badge
whole
too.
nother element, you know?
They did.
That's the only difference,
Yeah.
and the
And that they were
couple
mobile.
loved each other, you
Right.
know? Not
And
that
they were
these people
mobile.
didn't, but yes. Yes.
Right. And they were mobile. They weren't in just one area
Yeah.
trapped.
Yeah.
They were able to go into different places and have different
Yeah.
things happen. So I think
Yeah.
I think that actually is an advantage of this film.
Definitely.
Not to
But the
take away
first one's
anything from the
really good
original.
too. Exactly.
Right.
I enjoyed them both, but I like the second one just a little bit more. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's see what these guys have to say. Dan says three masked strangers. All right. Hollywood guys in the chat saying I rewatched it, so I give it 3. Okay.
All
Brandon
right.
saying 4 total eclipses of the heart. You guys are cute. That's really cute. Kay is giving it 3 as well. Okay.
Nice.
Very, very cool. Yeah, I think it's a very entertaining film. A lot of great stuff in it. For you guys, if you haven't seen it or you haven't seen it in a while, I think it's a really fun watch. There's a lot of great stuff in it. I think there's some good performances and some
Mm.
surprises. There were some
Yep.
big surprises in this film. They did stuff that I didn't expect. So,
Yeah.
all right, guys. Well, we want to thank you all for hanging out with us to talk about this. It's a really, really intriguing film, and I think that the both of us we enjoyed it a lot. So thank you guys for being here. Don't forget to the
Yeah.
like button. It helps to support the channel. We'd appreciate it. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you think of The Strangers Pray at Night. Obviously, with the new trilogy that's been planned, that is a reboot of sorts. There's some interesting thoughts about that because, I think that this film showed a lot of interesting things about this world, and I'm kind of curious why they're going to reboot it the way that they're saying they're going to, but that's a conversation for another day. So, Mr. Dan's going to be talking about it in a little bit. So definitely go and head over to Dan's channel. I'll be there to talk about it for a little bit too, because it's interesting, man. It really, really is. Yeah, and that's all I'm going to say on that. Ginger Ninja saying 2.5 as if we have a point
Okay.
0.5, but it's all good, man. You guys are too funny. Jack saying 4.9. Okay, guys. God, I tell you. All right. Russell saying, can't rate because I just started watching for the first time. All right, man. Well, let us know what you think about it when you finish it.
Yeah.
And we will catch you guys later. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Really. Have a good night. And if you're watching this,
Mm-hmm.
if you're listening to this, you are the Night Watch. Peace.
Upchurch.